Hi, everybody. Oh no, I have a little bit of feedback. Did it stop? It stopped. Okay, good. How's everybody doing? This is Pam Varner. I'm coming to you live from cloudy southern Arizona. I hope everybody is doing well. And I'm just going to give it a few more minutes to have a few more people pop on. And let me do something here. Let me do that. I think that's going to help. All righty. Hi, Linda. Let me fix this. I'm getting feedback. I don't want that. This might be a problem. I might have to do something else with this phone. Today we're going to play with crosshairs. That's going to be fun. Let me see what I can do here. I'm trying to stop this feedback that I have, and I hope that you can't hear it. So give me just a minute to fix this. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe I can kick me out. Let's try that. Oh. I really hope this works. Now I'm not going to be able to see your comments. I'm going to try this again. So, well, you know what? We're just going to have to hope that this works. So, anyway, today it's Crosshair Day. So, it's going to be a 3-month adventure with crosshairs. Today we are going to do classic crosshair squares, the 8, the 6, and the 5-point. And then next month, we're going to do circular crosshair squares or circular crosshair markings. And then, or next month. And this is April, so that'll be May. And then in June, we're going to do curved crosshairs, the spiral ones. Those are really fun. So let me move the camera and I'm going to show you my way that I mark with my crosshair squares. Everybody probably does a little bit different and it doesn't hurt to see everybody. So I'm going to start by showing you the 3 main crosshair squares. There is the 8-inch. There is the 6 or the 8-point. Sorry, it's an 8.5-inch marking tool for an 8-inch block. And so this is the 8-point. You can also do 16 and 32 with that. This is the 6-point, where you can do 6, 12, and 24. And this is the 5-point, where you can do 5, 10, and 20 points. So the more points you have, the more detailed the design is. But you can get completely different looks with all of the different types. So I'm going to show you how I use a crosshair square. And I'm going to do the 8-point because this is the most common. So what I do is I just take my marker and I'm using a Choco liner and it's filled with Ultimate Pounce powder. So I unscrew this top, I empty it out, I fill it up with Ultimate Pounce. Ultimate Pounce is the one that comes out with your iron. The regular Pounce you have to wash out. So, well, I just lost a few things to the floor. So good thing I don't need them. Anyway, so what I do is my Choco liner goes right inside. If yours doesn't, you can file it down. You can see I had to do that on this one. This is a very old one. I had to kind of file it down a little bit. Make sure that you file it down on both sides. So I'm just going straight down into each one of these little grooves. And I now have my 8 points. I need to find my center. So what I do is I take one of the lines that goes across here. I hope you can see those lines. Let me get them a little bit closer to you. See how I have these horizontal lines here? I'm going to line those up with my horizontal line here, right? And then I can take and I can see where this line that I drew comes through here. This is here. I know that it's straight. And then I make a mark like that. Then I do the same thing going the other direction. This time I'm using the vertical line on the crosshair square. And that gets me my center. Now, if I want to add so that I have 16 crosshairs, I use the lines on my crosshair square, line it up on the lines that are already marked. Get center and center. Takes a little bit adjusting. That needs to come up higher. That needs to go that way. There we go. And you just mark in, again, 8 slots, which will get you 16 crosshair squares or 16 crosshairs for designing. So you can do like a spin effects and center it on every one of these lines. You can also add and make it 32. So again, you use the lines on the crosshair square and you line it up. I'm lining up here and down here, and I don't have marks here. And then I have to move it just one more time. And let's see, I need to mark about in here. So let's see, there we go. Line it up with the lines. And there you have it. So those are 32. That's for very intricate designs. We're not going to use 32. So the 5 and the 6 points work exactly the same way. They're the ones that fell on the floor. They have the same kind of lines on them. They have the same slots. And you rotate again and fill in the gaps to get your extra crosshairs. Now, let's say that you're doing this with some kind of marking pencil and not the chocolate liner, which is made to fit in the crosshairs. So what happens is you get in here, straighten this out a little bit, and your pencil goes back and forth like that. So I get this not straight line, right? Because I can either go one side or the other. To get the pencil to be in the middle, what I do is I hold it at an angle. I can see I'm in the middle, and I run the pencil edge across the lip here. So I'm not holding it up like this, I'm holding it at an angle. I come in here at an angle, and the pencil is leaning up against this edge here. And that way my crosshair lines are straight. And they're in the middle of this channel, which is what you want. And then I just go right in the middle like that and make a little mark in the middle. So that's my boo-boo. But there is a 5-point crosshair. So you can see between this and the 16, you would get a huge difference on what your design would look like. So we're going to put that away. And next up, I'm going to show you the book. So I'm going to post a link later, but there is also a link when you click to get here on So Steady for the crosshair square. This is what is on sale today, is the Designing with the Westalee Design crosshair rulers. So it's deal day 20, and that's the code. And you can get this book. You can either get it as a digital download or you can get it as a hard copy. I recommend getting it the hard copy because you have this spiral here, so you can go anywhere and open it up and actually look at the design and figure it out. There's 230 designs in this book that are made with just a couple of templates. So depending on how many templates you have, multiply that by 200, and that's how many designs you now have. So it works with spin effects, it works with waves, it works with some of the circles on quilt spinning wheels, those kinds of things. Anytime you use a crosshair, you can use this book. So it just kind of talks about, you can lay it out at an angle and get the same design that you're used to, but now it's just at an angle instead of straight on. That's always kind of fun. There are some designs here where you're using partial and then you're adding and adding. This is 24 points, this is 12 points, that's 6 points. It's the same template. That's the part that's the interesting part, is it's always the same template. And then let me show you something else. Different ways that you can lay out your crosshairs. I mean, it's just an amazing book full of all kinds of designs and design ideas and things that you can do. So I thought what we would do today is actually sit down and stitch out some designs. Now what I've done is I've taken like a fat quarter, and I have filled it with a whole bunch of little 4-inch squares. And I used the mini crosshairs to fill in to get the lines. So these are great for going to retreat, going to a class, things like that, because you can always extend the lines, right? Any ruler will help you extend the lines. So these are really great to have too. They come in a set. So you've got the 8.5 inch, 12.5 inch, and the minis. So those are all the classic, I'm going to call those the classic crosshairs. Those were the original ones. Those are the ones that we're going to use today. So I'm going to move my camera, get us to the machine, and let's see. That's the machine, and we're going to stitch out some designs. So, and I'm going to see if I can see your comments. Well, that didn't work. Oh, I'm in a worse situation than I was before. Now I can't see anything. All right. There's the camera. If you have a question, I don't answer it. Ask it again in a little bit. So let's see. All right. It's a lot of hellos. And oh, no Facebook. I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm not the one that sets this up, so we're going to have to get that fixed though. All right. I'm going to go in a little bit tighter on the machine because we're using such small squares. So this is what I've set up for you. I have 5, 6, and 8 points, and we're just going to do a bunch of different designs. I think that sounds like fun. So we're going to start, and I'm only going to use Spin Effects number 4. So you'll get to see all the things you can do with a Spin Effects number 4. So we're going to start by, on this one, we're going to start on the 8 point. Well, you know what? Let's start on the 5 point. And it's really helpful if you have this stable tape towards the fabric and not towards your fingers. Although if you have issues with your hands and they slip off the templates, you can actually put stable tape on top and it'll help you grip. Okay, take a couple anchoring stitches. I'm going to line this up. Now, as you can see, I didn't extend these lines, right? And so now I'm having a hard time seeing where those are going, right? Because I want this line to be directly in line with this. So I have a couple of options. One of them is the paddle. This is the filler paddle. And I'm just putting it on the line on my template and the reference line. That's kind of hard to see. So I can take a template, right? And I have a line here on my template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line that up and I'm going to rotate it. I'm lining that line up with the center line here. You can also extend your lines. That would be a lot faster. And there we go. And now I'm right where I want to be. So I'm just going to stitch this out. This is just your basic Spinifex. It's number 4. It's the one that's in the sampler set. So I thought I would do that so you guys could kind of see. Most people have that template or this template. So I thought it'd be fun to show you all the different things you can do just with the template that's in your sampler set. So if you don't have a lot of templates, it's okay. Of course you want more. And if I had extended these lines, I wouldn't have to rotate the fabric as much, but that's okay. We're not doing anything fancy with this. We're just doing 5 points. That one looked good enough to me. Now, what I do with Spinifexes, if I'm going to bury the design, I come out a couple stitches and I pull my threads here. And then I bury them out here because, and I'm going to cut my stitches because this is a demo. This is not anything that I'm saving. Because you have all of this thread buildup in the middle, by coming out here farther, you just have a better place to bury. So this is our 5 point. We're going to do the same thing in the 6 point. So give me just a sec while I get this stitched out. Oops, that's the wrong size. I just ruined the surprise. I have the minis with me too. Because maybe you have a set of templates. Maybe you have, you know, number 10 and you have the complete set where you have 3.5, 5.5, 7.5, 9.5, and 11.5. I like that concept of having all the different sizes of the same shape. I think it gives you a whole lot of options. What I'm doing is I'm taking this pinhole, which is this straight line here, and I'm putting it on the reference line that's directly across from where I'm stitching. And that's how I'm lining this up. You can't do that with the 5 because you don't have anything directly across. But with the 6 and the 8, you do. There's 2 ways to do Spinifexes. You can go and do this one, then do the one opposite, and then pick opposite, 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 or you can go around in a rotation. Whatever makes you happy. and that did not make my machine happy. So now we have to see what we can do here. Sometimes I can just pull that stitch out and everything will be fine. It appears as if my top thread is a little bit too tight, and it was fine just a minute ago, so I'm not sure what happened. Let's see if it's going to work or if it's going to be funny. Well, it seems better, so we'll see what happens. Sometimes it doesn't like me to stitch really fast. I'm not a fast stitcher, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, something got whacked here. You know what? We're going to do that one over again. We're going to pull in the middle. There we go. I'm using a size 80 needle. I have King Tut in the top, which is a variegated cotton thread. And it's a 40 weight. And then I have dissolvable thread in the bobbin, and it's a 50 weight. Let's see. Much better. And I didn't end up in the center. And we have two more. And then we're going to do something different in the 8. I just want to show you the difference between the 5 and the 6. And see how just one crosshair can make such a difference. This is the one that got messed up. So you can see that there's, you know, a slight difference, but could make all the difference in the world in your quilt. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do just 4 with it like this, where the point is in the center, and that's the way this particular crosshair or this particular spinifex was made. And we're going to do the 4 . So I'm doing north, south, east, or west, if that works for you, or 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The other thing that I want you to pay attention to when you're working with your Spinifex templates is look at how the lines, like this line here on the template, this line right here on the template, is in line with the needle. And it should be right on your crosshair line. That's where it should be. So that's just something to kind of play around with a little bit. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction, but I'm putting the point out. So this is a little bit more tricky because there's not a little groove back here, right? So I have to actually stop on the line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch up to the stitching and go back down to center. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So this is just a little something different. Come here, come this way, come up, and go back down. Now I'm going to turn this way, and I'm using the diagonal crosshair this time. I'm not using the north, south, east, west. Now I got off just a little bit, and I can tell that because when I put my template up here, it's not exactly on that line. So I want to make sure that I'm on this line, and I'm going to stitch back a little bit just to get back into where I need to be. And now I want to get these guys out of the way. I don't want to stitch over them. Up to this line, come back down, go to center. I have one more to do, and then I'll show you it completed. Let's see, that's and it made a completely different design in the center. Remember when I slipped up a little? That's where it shows right there. So, but way different than these two. So now we're going to do something really different. We're going to do a mixture of the 3.5 inch and the 2.5 or the 1.5 inch. So this is the mini Spinifex. And I'm just doing this to show you the different things that you can do by combining different sizes. So we're going to start by doing the ones into the corners on the 8 point. And get my threads out of the way. And now we're going to take this out. If you have the slot, that's great. I don't have slots. I have puzzle pieces. There we go. And now on the opposite ones, I'm going to do the smaller one. And my threads are in the way. Well, there we go. See how this line lines right up here? Come over here. And I'm stitching over my starting threads, which is a little aggravating. I probably should have cut those before I put in this template. But I can get in there and pull out that thread. There we go. So there's that one. And we can do the same thing with the 6, where we go at an angle, or we can go up and let's go north and south with the and then after I do this one, I'm going to check for questions. And when I put in the mini, I am going to cut these threads. So we'll take this out, lift the foot and cut these threads just so that they're not in our way and we can see better. No, I would not do that while I was stitching. Yeah, with the Spinifex, maybe I would. Okay, so now I have the 2.5 I put in. So it kind of looks like maybe a flower where not all the buds have completely bloomed yet. I think it gives it a little bit more dimension if everything's not exactly the same size. So there's that one. Let me. Okay, someone's on Facebook. Hi, everybody. I'm just checking for questions, and I'm not seeing any here. So I'm just going to keep on going. All right, next up, we're going to do a petal and a petal. That's always fun. So this is the 5-point. Same concept, we're using 2 different sizes. And this one's right there. I can I should have made the 5-point crosshairs a little bit longer, but I'm honestly eyeballing it. But this is a small enough design that I think I can get away with that. If this was larger, I definitely would extend my crosshairs so that you could use it with this side of the template. That one's a little far away. So I've used my 12-inch arc to line things up a lot too. And now got this one. That was eyeballed pretty good. And I believe this is our last one with the 3.5 inch. Now, again, we're going to take this out. And we're going to put in, let's put in the little one, the 1.5 inch. Line it up. Come over here. Come over here. These are just a couple of the ways that you can combine different sizes of templates. And there we go. And then, you know what? I'm going to see what happens if you add the 2.5. And then we'd have 1, 2, and 3. Just think if this was much bigger, like if this was 11, 9, and 7, you could do a really fun template design where you cut out some of the fabric and you have your reveal fabric underneath. Oh, I really like this. This is really fun. This might be my favorite one so far. So there you go. That would be adorable on a baby quilt. Absolutely adorable. Mix some blocks with this and some hearts and it would be so cute. Okay, now we're going to do some fun stuff. Okay. Not that this isn't fun, but just real quick checking for questions. No questions. Okay. I hope you're having fun. I'm having fun. So on this one, we are going to create a design using the point out. Okay. And this is a little different than what we've done in the past. So let me pull my threads. I'm sure you've heard us say that you don't have to use the entire template, right? You can just use part of it. And some templates are really obvious, like using half of a large spinifex so that you can get like a wave or something like that. This is a little different. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up my template so that I'm in the center. Again, I don't have a little spot on my template here to hold my foot in place. So I'm going to stitch up to this line, and that's basically I'm going to stitch up to the top, and then I'm going to stitch back down to the center. So this entire design is going to be double stitched. I'm going to stitch up here, and I'm going to come back down. I'm going to rotate my template, make sure that I'm back in center. This time, I'm going to stitch up to the top. I'm going to stitch back down. Oops, I'm going to stay on the template. Looks so much better if you stay on the template. I'm going to come around this way. I'm going to stitch up to the previous stitching and go back down. So I've used about 3/4 of the template. Okay. Going to do the same thing, line everything up. Things aren't perfectly lined up. Let's see, that goes there. There we go. Again, on the tape side of the template is where you go all the way up and all the way down. Now, this time we have to come to this section right here, not this first one. Hit that and go back down. And I'm not in the center. I'm happier when the threads are under the template. There we go. Again, line up. That's not centered. There we go. Up, back down, come around, hit the previous line, come back down. Rotate the template. When you see this when it's done, you guys, it's so pretty. Come around, hit the stitches, and go back down. Stop and center. If you have the slot on your template, maybe you can use the slot to say that's the side that I go on or that I don't go on all the way up to the top. So it's really easy to just like space out and stitch all the way up here. Or when you're coming up this direction to just keep going. It's really easy to kind of get lost and do that. It's one of the reasons I stitch as slow as I do. Oh, I just stitched across my starting threads. Did not want to do that. Come here, come up here, stop, go back down. Okay. I'm going to cut these threads. right. So what I mean is it's really easy to come up here and keep going. So you just have to remember to go back. Now, if you remember the very first stitching, we went up, but we didn't have anything here to stop on, right? So we came up and went back down. So we have to go back to where we started, which was here, and now fill in this section here. So normally we come all the way up, we go back down, and then the second part of that stitching is what we need to do now. So let's line our template up and come up here, and that completes the design. So there that is. Isn't it pretty? Looks like a little mini circles on quilts spinning wheel number 36 in the middle. Lots of fun. So we're going to do the same thing on the 6 and the 5. I like to do the same thing on the 6 and the 5 when I'm playing around, just because when I'm designing something, like what I'm going to put in a block, because maybe I really like the design, but maybe it's too busy, or maybe it's not busy enough. And so I need to try the different points to see which one I like. But by all means, you should have the 8-point crosshair square. Boom. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Remember, we have to stop in the center here because we don't have a place to take our stitches over there. And my stitches caught. Come around here. Come up to what we stitched. Stop. Go back to center. Those got stuck in there. And now I've got a little, I may or may not have gotten that. We'll see. All right. I want to know how many of you have crosshair squares and which ones you have. Like, do you have 8, 6, and 5 points? Or you just have 8 points? And do you forget that you have them? Like, sometimes I forget that I have things. See, and even the 6 is so much faster. I didn't go all the way back to center because I have threads that I stitched over. This does not look complete. It's not. You know why? because I didn't complete that section. Oh, so now I have to go up here. You know, sometimes that happens when you're quilting too. You go, oh, I totally forgot that I was supposed to be stitching that. And then let's see if we can even get the bottom thread up. Oh, we did. Okay. Remember at the very beginning, we have to come back and we have to do this part. My machine's making me nervous today. And it's like I lost my scissors, but I didn't, so. There, that's the piece that was making me funny. There we go. So there's that one. I think that's really pretty. And then we have, should we do the 5? I think we should do the 5 too. Let me check for, yay. Oh, a lot of you have all of them. I'm going to do the curved crosshair in May. So hold on until May and I'll show you all the fun things you can do with it in May. I think I have the 8 and the mini set. Okay. Let's try that one more time with the 5, just so you can see the difference. I think that's really kind of fun to see the difference that you can. Why should I have that in there? Line this up. Oops. A lot of people forget that you can use your spinifexes in both directions. Hopefully I'll remember when I come back around to finish the design. Let's see. That's pretty, okay. I want to keep those. Ooh, this is really hard to see. And we need to do this a little bit. There we go. You can also do this same type thing with your circles on quilt spinning wheel number 36 from the sampler set. You don't have to use it with the pin. You can use it like a spinifex. Actually, I think all templates can be used as a spinifex. Probably not true, but I like to play with all of them and pretend that they're spinifexes. And I remembered, come back to the very beginning and then do this part. There we go. That little piece out of there. There. So there we have, don't drop your templates, especially on hard floors. And whatever you do, don't roll over them with your sewing chair. I guarantee you they will crack. Not that I know firsthand, but I do. So here's the 5-point. Let's see. There we go. And there's the 6 and the 8. They look pretty. I think they look really fun. Okay. We have 2 more little concepts to work on. The first one is we're only going to stitch part of the design, and then we're going to start on the 5. And on this one, we're going to do, we're using the, we're back solely to the 3.5 inch. We're going to do it with the point out. Okay. So get that lined up. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the puzzle piece out for now, and I'm going to tape it to the top of my machine. If you don't have a puzzle piece, then you don't have to worry about that. I'm only going to stitch on this side of the template. I'm going to stitch up to the line. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take my template out, and now I'm going to use my spacing gauge and the straight part of my template to come back down to center. That's there. That was off by a stitch. Come back in with my template, stitch up. I obviously don't want to stitch on the other side because I took the puzzle piece out. So that helps me decide what side of the template I'm stitching on. And then I'm going to use my spacing gauge and go back to center. Okay. Put the template back in, stitch out to center. Use my spacing gauge, come back to center. There we go. And then we just have a couple more to do. I was going to stitch the straight part first, but I wouldn't know where to stop. think it's easier to see if I come around here. All right. Don't use the 18, the 1/8 side. Use the 1/4 inch side. So there's that design. And now we're going to do it with the point in the middle and the 6 points. And maybe I'm going to move it because I have the stable tape on the top and I want it towards the fabric. Okay. So now this time we're going to stitch on the left hand side. And I'm going to stop when I get up to this center on the template because I don't have a bump stop to stop me from going anywhere. So I have to eyeball it. Same thing, we're going back to center. Excuse my head. I think these look like the blades of a the wind, the wind, what do you call those things? You know, for energy, the wind energy, the turbines. I think they're called turbines, the wind turbines. I'm going to eyeball this one. Leonie always said that after a while you could determine your 1/4 inch. I was never really good at that. So, but I guess I did okay. So these are just some of the ideas that you can find in the Crosshair Square book. Like I said, there's over 200 designs in that book. So here you have, see how they look like the blades of a fan kind of going around? When I'm done with this, we're going to put it out so you can see all the designs. Now, this is the last one. And this one is really fun. And as you can see, I have more than 8 points on here. I have 16. You don't need all 16. You need at least one of those extra points. But we're going to start with, oh, we should put the puzzle piece back in. Well, we'll wait until we get the thread pulled and do that. You're going to pull from center. This is another one of those designs where everything is going to be double stitched. Okay. So we're going to start. No, it goes this way. Again, the point out. I'm lining up my crosshairs everywhere so that everything's lined up. This is my center spot, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch all the way around to the next reference line. And in a minute, you're going to see why you only have to do that once. The very next reference line, and then I'm going to go back. Then I'm going to rotate to the right. I'm going to go 2 spaces. So I want to skip this one and go to the next one. And then line it up. This is really helpful, all of the lines on your Spinifex to help me line up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to stitch to these stitches and go back. Kind of something we've done before. Okay, 1, 2. You want to skip one. And it makes it look like your petals are behind each other. Like you fanned it out like a thing of cards. Okay. I was there. I want to skip this line and use this one. So let's get that lined up. There we go. I was there. I want to skip and go to this one. So line that up in the back. There we go. And all the way back. And we're in that point, skip that one, go to this one. Hold on. My little guys are getting in the way again. That point, that's there, that's there. There we go. Skip this one, go to this one. Get these guys out of my way. There. I want to make sure I'm lined up properly, or as close as I can be. Well, that was off, but I don't think you're going to be able to tell. Now, skip this one. Oh, I did something wrong, you guys. Oh no, skip that one and do this one. Boy, that was scary. In a perfect world, when you come up here, you're going to hit those stitches in a perfect world. I don't live in a perfect world, so I'm going to just double check it with my spacing gauge to make sure. So that's lined up, that's lined up, that's lined up. That should hit it. Let's see. And today, this was a perfect world. So here is that design that I just made. This is actually one of my favorites. And I do it with a lot of different templates. You can, those dirty ones out of there. Okay. So I'm going to put this over here and move the camera so that you can see it. And then I'm going to check and see if anybody has any questions. And then go back here and come out just a little bit. There we go. Look at that. So we have 12 different designs. We only use 2 templates, but we use the same shape. So that's just some of the fun in the Crosshair book. And then I want to show you one more thing, another marking thing. I'm just, oh, let's see if you could see the designs better. Let me see if it shows up more. No, it doesn't show up more on the back because it's white thread on a light fabric. So maybe what I'll do is let's see. Let's try something. Let's go, oops, wrong way. Let's do this. And we'll start up here, back up just a little bit, and we'll go across this way. Oh, I should turn it if I'm going to do this, but that's okay. There's that. Then we're going to come down, slowly go across, and then go down again, and slowly go across. And that's the last one that I did. So I hope that helps. All right. I'll check for questions. Oh, let me post that book again. I said I was going to do that. I want to make sure I get that done for you. I want you to be able to buy it. Okay. Here is the link to the Crosshair Square book. Boom. It might take a minute to get there. Let's see. Your book will come soon, or your box will come soon. Windmill, there you go. Thank you. Priscilla, there is still sound. Okay. All right. I want to show you one more thing, just to something to think about. And you can do this with any size square. So sometimes we have like a 12-inch square, but we only have 5.5-inch templates, right? So what are we going to do? Well, here is an 8-inch square, and you can come in from the diagonal and do your smaller template in this square, and then in this square, and then in that square, and then in that square. So that's one option that you can do. The second option, and the way that you do, and I'll show you how you mark from the corners. Here we're coming in from the corners to the center. Well, maybe you have enough space in the center when you're done to put a smaller motif on the inside, right? So these are all 8 points. And what you do is you start by marking the center of your block and your diagonals. So you already have these lines. Then you come in, you rotate till you have this line that's in between the two slots on the line that you made in the very beginning. And then just draw those two lines. And now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Even though it's an 8-point crosshair, you have the 5 points. Here you do partial and then do the 3 designs, and then here another partial. You can do this with wreaths too. That would look pretty with a wreath. So those are some of the other options. And now I'm going to take you back to what we did today. So again, next month we're going to do the circular crosshairs, the round ones. And then in May, we're going to do the spiral. Let's see if I can pull this up just a little. Oops, down just a little. There we go. Okay. And I am checking. I finally came back. Oh, that's okay, Priscilla. Or you could just buy the book. These designs were all inspired by the book, even though I didn't use the templates that Leonie used in the book. So she uses, I think, Spinifex number 12 is mostly what she uses in the book. But I thought it'd be fun to do it with the 4, because most people have that, and then you can play with the one that you have. So that's all I have today. I'm just checking again for questions. You can always reach me. You can contact me. There's my email address is on Sew Study's website. So you're welcome. And the name of the book is Westalee Designing. Let me get it exactly right. Here, I'll put it up here and I'll put the camera on it. Designing with the Westalee Design Crosshair Rulers is the name of the book. And it comes in a spiral bound, which is the one that I have, or it comes as a digital download where you can have it today. So I like the spiral bound. There it is. I like the spiral bound. I just think it's nice to be able to lay the book out. So, or, you know, you could get it printed or you could print it at home. So that's the book. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I really like it when people show up. It makes it more fun for me that I know that I'm actually showing people something instead of just talking to myself. So, but I have fun talking to myself too. So, all right, everybody, have a great weekend. I will see you next month. Have a great month, and we will see you the first Friday in May. All righty, thanks. Bye.